And I listened with great pleasure to the words of the Venerable Master from Malaysia, who said that government cannot bring peace to the world, and religion cannot bring peace to the world, and only when the two come together do we have any hope.
是法界大学开幕，是观世音菩萨开光，是同时就是双重的一种的这个喜事。
现在我们正式恭请中美佛教总会的会长以及法界大学的校长宣化上人给各位讲话。
南无常住十方佛，南无常住十方法，南无常住十方僧，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无大悲观世音菩萨。 南无大悲观世音菩萨，南无大悲观世音菩萨。在今天得到各位诸山长老诸位上座法驾光临，又得到。 美国政府一些各位长官到这儿来参加这个开幕典礼，又得到各位善男信女不远千里而来，也有的不远万里而来，到这儿参加这个开光典礼。 那么20世纪是最重要的一件事，比这个原子弹、氢气弹比这个都重要。原子弹、氢气弹乃至火箭，都是一些个杀人的利器。那么这个佛教是叫人不要杀生明白自己是应该做什么的。 不要害己害人。那么世界为什么有战争？就因为俺们所有的人都是只知道有自己只知道自私自利，而不知道利他。那么现在法界大学的宗旨是要令人人这个思想走到正当的途径不在这个世界造一些罪业，做世界一个 最模范的一个人啊，令全世界大家都共同那么和相处，这个没有战争，所以消灭这个战争于无形，只有先叫人不杀生。所以在我们今天开幕的期间，我们有大放放生，这个呢就是令我们大家明白不要在世界净杀生，我们要放生不要净自利，不要有那么大的贪心，那么多的嗔心，那么多的痴心，在这个世界不要颠倒。那么法界大学的宗旨就要改变全人类的这每一个地球星球互相没有战争，这是佛教的宗旨。所以我们人人信佛了，人人呢就知道不杀生这个道理。那么这个是世界最重要的。所以古人有这么几句话，说千百年来万里耕，冤深似海恨难平。欲知世上刀兵劫，你听一听不打妄语老老实实的做人不饮酒。好，这个时间。
Homage to the permanently dwelling Buddhas of the 10 directions, homage to the Dharma of the 10 directions, homage to the Sangha of the 10 directions, homage to Shakyamuni Buddha, homage to the greatly compassionate Guanxili Bodhisattva. Today, we are very honored with the presence of all the selected representatives in state and local government, all the venerable high masters from many countries, our guests from all over Asia and America to attend this very auspicious occasion. Some of you have come thousands or 10,000 of miles to attend this occasion where Guan Yin Bodhisattva is going to open her light and emit great brilliance throughout the world. Now, this is a very, very important event in the world, the first time in America. In fact, the historian Arnold Toynbee once said, if we are going to recollect all the historical events that happened in the 20th century, we will find that the coming of Buddhism to the West is the single most significant event in the entire century. This is more important than all nuclear weaponry, hydrogen bombs, rockets, what have you, because those things kill, and Buddhism brings peace and wisdom to mankind. What is the basic tenets of Buddhism? The 5 precepts, the 5 moral rules. No killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no false speech, and no drinking. It just means that. And no taking of intoxicants or dope or drugs. It just means not being upside down. Buddhism is waking up people from slumber and from their confused dreams for so long. We should not keep on harming ourselves and harming others. Why is there war in countries now? It is because people are selfish and people only seek their own self-benefit. If you return to the large and not only think about the small picture, then it is for sure that Buddhism will lead people onto the proper path. The most important thing is to be models to all of mankind, and that means existing harmoniously together. In order to celebrate this occasion, today we are going to liberate life, because people have been killing too much, and now we have to get rid of some of that bad energy that is in the world, so we're going to liberate life. Now, the principle of Dharmaram Buddhist University is to teach mankind to do only good and forsake all evil. If people and people will not fight, then country and country will not fight. Family and family will not fight. There will be peace and it will be easy to understand the star. There is a verse in Chinese that goes like this. For thousands and then thousands of years, stew in the soup bowl. You do not know how much hatred and resentment lies within. If you want to know the cause of all wars in the world, just try to listen to the screaming howl in the slaughterhouse by midnight. It's because we kill that there are wars. In order to offset the bad energy, we learn to embrace life. That's what Buddhists teach. Not to steal, no sexual misconduct, no lying, no
The final phase of this morning's ceremony here at the gate is come. You're going to ask Venerable Dharmanama, Assemblyman Bosco, Supervisor Cimelino, Supervisor Silver, and the elderly Pastor Wangwapu to come together. At the same time, we are going to liberate these 200 pigeons. Now, why do we do this? The Master has just explained why we do this. These pigeons have been purchased from the place where they sell pigeons for people who live in the so instead of people killing them and eating them, we let them go free. And this demonstrates the teaching of the Buddha, the passion for all life forms. And while we do that, we will recite the Great Compassion Mantra. After we recite the Great Compassion Mantra and the pigeons will go free and the we will all the speakers on the platform will move forward. Everyone is asked to turn around and face west, that way. And a picture will be taken. After the photograph has been taken, we will all go to the Buddha Hall. We will all file together reciting the name of Guanyin Bodhisattva. The Buddha Hall, which is right nearby, and we will continue the morning's activity.
现在我们是恭请达摩南陀法师、王德普部长以及那个Bosco 先生以及Cimelino先生以及Stewart 在主持这个剪彩典礼。现在请 各位最后一个段落，然后转过身去就拍这个全体照片了
Everybody turn to the west, turn around, and we'll have a photograph.
Put over there, okay? Get the boxes out of here. 那么，过去正法明如来现前观世音菩萨，飞身现身，周遍十方，无相垂相分身陈藏，悲心深切是自生六道之内，常为诸佛之所赞叹，以于菩萨而居上首。12大愿，喜好圆通，32应，忠诚自在。甘露遍洒，化热闹为清凉；梵音广布，是益烦恼作菩提。3000界内，同瞻化育，是万亿国中，是共沐能光。无南北东西之分，有慈悲喜舍之愿。一乘圣号，超凡品而入圣流，暂作礼敬，离灾难而应吉祥。所谓能伏灾风火，普命照世间，具一切功德，图演示众生。啊，也咒那是在那个。有一个，不是那个，那我不知道。有这个阴行咒，有这个安坐咒，啊，一个了，南无三满多阿弥陀
代表来到此地参加这个法界大学的开幕，我们仅以至诚的心，祝贺法界大学的销路蒸蒸日上，大业千秋。谢谢各位。On behalf of the Malaysian Buddhist delegation, may I extend our heartiest congratulations to the Dharmarium Buddhist University on the auspicious occasion of the opening ceremony, as well as the opening light ceremony of the Bodhisattva Kuan Yin. We are from Malaysia. I wonder if you have any impression about this country. Anyway, we feel very proud that last year we welcomed the Sino-American Buddhist Association and the Dharmarium Buddhist University's delegation to our country. The delegation's visit to our country can be described as unprecedented. It was a very successful one, not only in Malaysia but also in Singapore. Today, we can say with pride that Malaysian Buddhists and the Dharmarium Buddhist University have already worked very closely towards the promotion of Buddhism in this world. Last but not least, may I take the opportunity once again to express our heartiest congratulations to the Dharma Real Buddhist Society. Thank you. Congratulations.
Presentations for this morning. And now, like all of you to join us in the meal offering, and then we will all go together to the dining hall to have a vegetarian meal together.
Able to make this gift without a mark of self, without a mark of others, without a mark of living beings, and without a mark of a life. He made this gift from the bottom of his heart for everybody in the world and everybody here. And it's my wish that everybody here takes advantage of this offering and makes wise use of it.
I would now like to ask our Master Hung Chao to say a few words.
Admit our faults and try to change them, and the world will be better by a little bit. That world peace begins with peace of mind. And happiness for all living beings begins with happiness in your own heart. And so on this trip, we used a mantra. And as far as I know, it's the first English Western mantra. And the essence of the mantra is that at the very least, we never could get angry. No matter what situation came up, it was not okay to get angry. And so the mantra runs like this. Patience, patience. Gotta have patience. Don't get angry, swota. It works. And this simple mantra, we feel, is what Buddhism is all about throughout the world. Just no anger, being one with everyone. So I'll say it once more, so whenever you feel the anger rise, you can use it. It's says, patience, patience, gotta have patience. Don't get angry, swopa.
是恒指法师的护法，他们两位行者三不一拜。所有佛教徒的护法，他们两位行者，所有佛教徒的护法，他们两位行者刚刚。
I hope that all of you will be very, very sincere and listen very carefully to his words. He normally never speaks to anyone. For the last 2.5 years, he has not spoken during his bowing pilgrimage. He's arisen every day at 3:30 in the morning and worked hard all day, single-mindedly, reciting and bowing, and meditated late into the night every night until 12 o'clock. He's maintained the practice of never lying down. He's also maintained the practice of eating 1 bowl of food a day, in addition to not speaking throughout the entire bowing pilgrimage. He's done this for the purpose of single-mindedly concentrating his mind with one single thought of peace and happiness for all living beings. And so what he has to say today is very, very rare, and I hope all of you will pay very close attention to it. We 现在请我们三步一拜，修行人弘誓法师讲几句话。他讲的时候，我们要预先准备我们的心。为什么？因为他所做的是我们所有的众生不能做的事，他所忍是平常人不能忍的事情。他的苦干。Also, would Wojun, Apostle Wojun, Hector Wong, Apostle Hector Wong, please come to the platform.
When we bowed through the gate at, this is last week, my feeling was one of deep shame because I realized how hard everyone here had been working to make the dream of a city of 10,000 Buddhas come true. And I thought of how lazy I had been, and how insincere and how untrue I had been. All the days of San Louis Bai. And although I'm standing here talking to you all, every single one of the Venerable Abbot's disciples here, those who have left the home life and those who are still at home, all the cultivators here at the city of 10,000 Buddhas work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, and are 10,000 times as hard, as sincere as I was on San Louis Bai. And we all follow the Venerable Abbot's example in this way. He never rests. He has no thoughts of self. And I can't say the same for myself. But, as I say, although I'm standing here talking to you now, it's every one of the Venerable Abbot's disciples who have earned this position, who should be standing here talking to you now, talking in my place. And I really feel happy to be part of this city. All I can offer is 2 hands to work and another mouth to feed. That was my feeling as I came through the gate. Oh, here's another mouth to feed. I'm going to have to really get going and start to work hard to earn the food that I eat every day. Because everybody here works from morning to night. Everybody here holds vows. Everybody here is mindful of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And we're all part of one Sri Bodhisattva's great compassion heart. So that's the message of the City of 10,000 Buddhas, is that everyone is the same. Everyone is going to become a Buddha. And the other thing that I felt, and I felt it today as well, was that I haven't begun to take the first step to repay the kindness of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, to repay the kindness of my teacher, to repay the kindness of my parents and elders. Their kindness to me has been boundless and infinite. It's as tall as the mountains and as deep as the ocean. And I hope that just by being true, by really being mindful and cultivating the way with a single thought, with a single heart, that I might be able to pay back this debt of kindness. And I still owe a huge debt, and I'm going to work hard. That's enough about me. I wanted to say, sing one more thing to you all, and I hope everybody will join me. It's called the City of 10,000 Buddhas. It's called the City of 10,000 Buddhas. It started with a vow to bring enlightenment to every living thing. From the man who brought the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha to America to build a new foundation. It's called the City of 10,000 Buddhas. It's called the City of 10,000 Buddhas. Everybody sing, you know. Instilling virtue in the children, filiality is number one. They will vow to get enlightened, to repay their parents' kindness, and repay the great compassion of the Buddha. It's called the City of 10,000 Buddhas. It's called the City of 10,000 Buddhas. Making Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, sages from the likes of you and me. It's a place for cultivation, it's a place for transformation of the common man to a Bodhisattva, the common
the objects of our desires, the more pain we bring upon ourselves. And so we have the Buddha coming into the world to teach living beings a way to get rid of suffering by learning how to control their minds, how to get rid of the source of suffering, get rid of their greed, hate, and stupidity. 现在可以说一天比一天科学就发达，不过一天比一天我们人的精神就衰败，这个世界一天比一天缩小。在这个世界，所以有我们释迦牟尼佛来到这个娑婆世界，教化我们怎么样可以离苦得乐。这是要把我们每个人心里头的贪心、嗔心、痴心放下，要修戒、修定、修慧。
里面有一句话：儒教修行，在得佛法。非但口言而得清净。那么还不到2个礼拜以前，我和洪潮一起拜过去我们万佛城大门那儿。我心里有一个思想，怎么样呢？就是我回光返照，就想一想，我过去2年半的时间怎么样过去？那么我那个时候觉得非常非常惭愧，因为我认为有我，可以说今天有我在这儿对你们各位讲。可是呢，万佛城，我拉起了没有的那个样。
师父，诸位 诸位贵宾、诸位教友，也可以说是贵宾呢，不是教友啊。我呀，实在是
衣服还有 good mother， 还有 good son， 衣服中还有 good mother， 还有 good son。
I feel I'm really not qualified to be part of this very auspicious program, except that as a non-Buddhist here to celebrate this wonderful opening, perhaps instead of speaking as one mother, I could speak for the parents of all the left-home persons. In the few days I've been here, I've absorbed a little of the atmosphere, I believe, and the total dedication, the devotion, and the loyalty of all of the monks and nuns and laypersons who give so much time and total energy. And this is the fruition of all of their labors to have this historic occasion. I've also had a small sample of the wisdom of the Master who was responsible for all of it, and now I understand what it's all about. So I just wish that I were the age of the very smallest child here, so that I could come back many years to see this exciting place develop. Thank you.
这位是当时法师的妈妈，从千里而来的，美国东部而来的。
你们谁要对我不好，或者骂我，想要打我，他都会一口把你们吃了。
It's said that
introductory rap. This is Dharma Master Hunter, the Master's favorite tiger disciple. He's really fierce. So any one of you who wants to bully the Master, you might just get eaten by her in one go.
It said that the Buddha Dharma is also the Dharma of living beings, and also the Dharma of the mind. And I think there are many kinds of people here, but they fall really into two categories. Those who know the Buddha Dharma, and those who are just being introduced to the Buddha Dharma. Now, the Buddha Dharma as a Dharma for living beings has two important things to say. The first is be filial to your parents. It doesn't matter how young you are or how old you are. You should always remember that. The second is to follow the rules. The rules are not to kill, not to steal, not to commit sexual misconduct, not to lie, and not to take intoxicants and drugs. In this way, you make yourself a pure vehicle so that you can take the second two parts, the mind, the Dharma, the mind, and the Buddha Dharma, and take them in. If your body is pure, and you've been good to your parents, then you can quiet your mind. And if you can quiet your mind, then you can absorb the principles of the Buddha Dharma. Now I said we fall into two categories. Those who know the Buddha Dharma very well, and those who are just being introduced. But if all of us can be one in this way, that we always have the energy to act as if we just met the most exciting thing in our life, no matter how long we know the Buddha Dharma, then it will surely prosper all over the world. 可以说佛法就是终生法，就是心法。我觉得今天虽然我们有那么多人，我们分开两种，一个是很久认识佛教，一个是刚刚现在读到佛教。
法两个最重要的，第一个是要孝顺父母。
何况佛，你给他那么多烟干什么？他怎么抽的那么多烟？
因為佛咧唔係煙筒啊。如果你要供獻佛咧，其實如果嗰個香爐上面已經有3支香，就已經好足夠㗎啦。唔好咧爭先恐後嚟燒香，你應該燒你嘅心香，唔係話爭住啊頭先咧呢個壇啊直情着咗火嘅，有1、2次，咁樣啊太唔恭敬佛啦。
就着火不可以的，我这儿没有这个规矩，我的规矩是不可以抢着来上香的。
可以搶住嚟上香啊！呢個太迷信亦都係太貪心啦，應該咧點上你嘅心香，並且咧
這種嘅行為太卑鄙下流了。
應該咧係要恭敬呢個清淨嘅道場，希望你遵守規矩。同埋咧，譬如其他貴賓講嘅嘢時候，雖然你自己係或者聽唔到佢講嘅嘢啊，唔好自己自就咁講嘢，因為你既然嚟到呢度係咁難得嘅機緣咧，唔好浪費嘅時間啊，亦都唔好妨礙其他嘅人咧嚟吸收佛法。
我們這是新開的佛教，和其他的佛教道場完全不同的。你其他的嘛，你迷信，他沒有人懂，可以的。我們這不許可迷信的。
呢個係喺美國新開始嘅佛教係我哋係行持正法嘅，同埋咧一般流費嘅佛教道場係有啲唔同嘅。喺嗰度如果你馬馬虎虎啊，或者唔守規矩或者食煙咧，冇人管你。但係呢度咧，我哋絕對唔可以再咁樣集呢啲咁嘅流費嘅嘅習俗嚇，希望大家注意。
你如果這樣的到這不守規矩，我絕對不歡迎你，不要來。
如果唔守規矩咧，我哋係唔可以。
無父無君，無老無少，無佛無法無僧的，你到底上什麼香啊？你上那個香也一樣下地獄的。
你心裏邊啊冇佛冇法冇僧啊，又冇父又冇尊啊，呢種人根本啊係好卑鄙下流嘅，你上咩香都係冇用，都係會墮落嘅。
無論你哪一個不遵守我的規矩，我就要糾正你們啊！你罵我什麼都好，你拿把刀來殺我，我都不在乎，我一樣不准你們犯我的規矩。
你哋邊個嚟到萬佛城，一定要守呢度規矩嚇。無論咧，你就算要鬧我哋嘅上人好，或者你用把刀要殺佢都好，如果你唔守規矩，你一律都係唔歡迎嘅。
你要知道萬佛城呢是一個正法住世的地方，絕對不許可人迷信的。你想要修佛法，一定要守這規矩。你不守規矩，你就是地獄種子。
萬佛城係一個正法住世嘅地方啊！如果你係要嚟迷信咧，你呢個唔得嘅。咁如果你唔守規矩咧，無論你點樣啊，你唔可以喺呢個地方，我哋唔歡迎你。因為呢，你已經係一個地獄嘅種子，唔係真正嘅教徒。
你說哪有信佛的人去上香來罵和尚的？這叫什麼佛教？這要不是畜生，不是地獄種子，它是個什麼？
你哋聽過一個好嘅佛教徒啊，上香嘅時候啊會鬧和尚嚟嘅，聽過未嘅？如果呢種咁嘅唔係地獄嘅種子，咩係叫佛教徒？
他這在佛教裡就是造業的嘛，在這。
即刻就犯口業啦！
Today there were some people who came here and didn't follow the rules. And this is some instruction from the Venerable High Master about the rules of Buddhism. Why? Because this is a new Buddhism in America. Buddhism in Asia for a long time has become very, very superstitious, with people performing all kinds of practices which are useless. They make offerings to the Buddha thinking that they will go to heaven, when in fact they're going straight to hell because of their superstition. And so in the future, all of these things have to change. Because here in America, this is a new country for Buddhism. And Buddhism is going to be new here. The very, very fundamental basic rules of the city of 10,000 Buddhists are that no one is to come here and smoke cigarettes, and no one is to come here and drink. This is basic. After that, everyone should follow along with the ceremonies as they're conducted. Today, half of the people ran out of the Buddha hall, scrambling over to the kitchen to stuff their mouths full of food, while the High Master... They're all hungry ghosts, that's all you are. They all ran over to the kitchen to stuff their mouths full of food, while the meal offering had barely started. After you haven't even bowed to the Buddha, what kind of food are you going to eat? This is putting the cart before the horse. It doesn't matter who you are, you can't do it this way. First the offering has to be made. After the offering is made, then you can go and eat. There's absolutely no place in the world where you can find the principle of first eat and then bow to the Buddhas. This is being disrespectful to the Buddhas, disrespectful to the Bodhisattvas, and terribly disrespectful to all the High Masters here. And so in the future, this will not be... And so the Master has... So the Master today has not had a morsel of food, and he just said that from now on, to commemorate this day, on the 15th day of the 9th lunar month, he will fast every year from now on, in commemoration of you people who ran out of the Buddha hall to stuff your mouths full of food without paying your respect to the Buddha. From now on, people like this, it doesn't matter who you are, if you don't want to follow these rules, the rules that the Masters laid down for new Buddhism in America, where people do things according to the Dharma, the way they should be done, with respect and reverence for each other, so the world can be peaceful and happy. If you don't want to follow these rules, don't come. That's the way it is. If you don't want to follow these rules, don't come. It's okay not to have any people, but there can't be any Dharma. The Masters come here to America to establish the proper Dharma in the West, where everything is done according to the way it should be done, and is not done according to the rules of superstition, the way some people have set them up in Asia. Today a person came in and lit some incense, and the incense was already lit a great deal. And there was all kinds of incense already burning in here. The Master asked him not to light so much incense. And what did he do? He scolded the Master right in front of the Buddha. Where in the world do you have a place where there's Buddhism where a lay person can come in, light a stick of incense, and start scolding the Buddha? Is that what you do? You light incense and then scold the monk, scold the Sangha, and scold the Buddha? This is not the way it's done. So people like this in the future will certainly not be welcome to the city of 10,000 Buddhas. We're doing this so the world will be a peaceful place, so the world will be a happy place, so people will understand the rules, and so they can change their minds to move towards the good, so they can help themselves and help others. And we must establish the rules that way so Buddhism can be of some benefit in this country. If we don't do it, if we don't establish the proper rules, then what are we doing here? It's all totally useless. And Buddhism will be of no benefit to this new country. And so in the future, when all of you come to the city of 10,000 Buddhas, we hope you will follow and practice the rules. They're not very difficult. Just don't smoke and don't drink. And don't run off and stuff yourself before it's time.
我们这大家吃饭的时候一起吃，不可以先后的。尤其这个僧人没有吃饭，你们在那个地方坐那个地方吃饭，那能吃得下去吗？
Here we all eat together. This is one of the basic rules of the Buddha. Everybody in the assembly, no matter whether the person is high or low, we all eat together. And if one person isn't full, it can be considered that the whole assembly hasn't yet eaten its fill. Everybody is equal in this regard. So how can people first run off and start feeding themselves before even the Sangha has sat down to eat? How could you possibly swallow anything?
你到什么地方，你吃东西，你都让人家这个主人呢，先要知道，要许可你吃，你才吃。你自己偷偷跑在那儿偷着吃东西，这叫个什么？我们这不是一个随随便便的地方，我们这一定要守规矩。不守规矩，任何人你就有多少钱，会不欢迎的。
Now you think about it, any place else in the world, regardless of what kind of an organization it is, what kind of a ceremony it is, first the host sits down. Is that not right? First the host will sit down and eat. If the host doesn't permit you to sit down and eat, then you just don't sit down and eat. Where in the world people... What is this called? This is called just coming here and stealing. If you run off to the kitchen and start stuffing yourself before it's time, before the host is even, I invited you to sit down and take your meal. The host invites the guests to eat. The guests don't run off and steal the food. So in the future, people who don't want to follow the rules are not welcome to the city of 10,000 Buddhas. People who don't want to follow the rules that are laid down by the master are not welcome here. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much money you want to offer. If you don't want to follow the rules, don't come.
我不要的。
The master doesn't want this kind of money.
我从来也不看不起有钱人，告诉你们。
And very, very frankly, from the beginning of this whole thing, from the beginning of the time the master propagated the Buddha Dharma, he's always really looked down on people who have a lot of money.
有多少钱就有多少罪。
Because no matter how much money you have, you've got about that many offenses.
上供嘅時候啊，供齋嘅時候咧，好實例。其實如果喺佛教裏邊講，我哋真係好丟架，好丟架嘅。點解咧？邊個做佛教徒嘅人啊，都應該明白啊！你喺食飯之前，未俾真人食飯，你自己啊就去到廚房將自己塞飽個肚咧，呢個完全唔合法。好似啊，唔好講喺頭頭入面，你去主人家，人請你食飯，你都要個主人啊請你上座食飯先。冇話未經過個主人啊請啊，未有通知啊，自己就走去廚房咧，將自己塞飽咗。今次咩咧？似一班和諧，係咪？你話覺得係咪咁樣樣？而家咧未供佛菩薩。
你不高興，我也要這麼說。
你哋唔高興咧都要咁講㗎，因為呢啲咧係真實嘅嘛。
Because you will very happily accept anybody's scolding.
是呀，你不怕你那个舌头将来做拔舌地狱，随便骂我欢迎的。
You're not afraid of having your tongue fall into the unspaced hell, then the master welcomes any of you who wish to scold him to go ahead and scold him.
绝对不生氣的。
He certainly won't get angry at you.
咁食飯咧，如果未經過主人同意就去食咧，直情係嚟偷人搶嘅。大家應該係尊重己德啊，唔可以咁樣做嘅。咁而家咧，或者在座好多人好唔滿意啦，咁我哋上嚟話咧，歡迎你哋鬧，你點鬧咧都唔緊要嘅。如果你唔怕你啊，第日咧跌落去啊，罰你嘅地獄啊，即係你條命咧俾個地獄監佢出嚟，你罵咩都唔嚇，罵法發生咧都唔緊要嘅。咁你亦都唔好以為係自己有好多錢啊，人哋就要特別招呼你，因為啊，我哋一向嘅家風係咧最睇唔起有錢人。
And these kind of firing talks are very, very important today for us to introduce proper Buddhism. Actually speaking, when we observe how some of those so-called Buddhists practice this religion, their practices disgrace the name of the Buddha and Buddhism. And all those who are waiting to find out weaknesses and loopholes of this religion take the advantage and opportunity to criticize and condemn and ridicule this religion. Therefore, please remember, time has come for us to reorganize so many practices that our forefathers have introduced according to their way of thinking to practice this religion and to introduce this religion. Today people are educated. They want to know the meanings or the significance of our practices, our beliefs, our concepts and traditional practices. When we enter certain Buddhist temple or shrine room, people bring loads of joss sticks and burns and smoke the whole building. If the real Buddha, living Buddha, enter into this building, I don't think he will stay even 5 minutes and he runs away from that temple. And he goes out and asks people, who introduced this kind of religion to you? Did I tell you? Then what are you doing here? We have forgotten what the Buddha has taught. He is the most rational, most enlightened religious teacher, most liberal-minded religious teacher who tried to wipe out superstitious belief, a stupid idea, silly idea from our mind. But what we are doing, because of our religion, we are trying to enrich our stupidity and ignorance. How many people have realized these things? I am very happy to see at least there is one religious teacher who got the courage and backbone to open his mouth and advise his disciples, teach his disciples how to practice this religion. Many of those monks are keeping quiet, allowing and encouraging their followers to practice more and more superstitious beliefs if they can make money. Here, this religious teacher says, I don't want your money. I don't want you to come here if you don't like to follow the discipline. If there is no discipline, where is religion? Sila means discipline. The whole teaching, our Buddha Dhamma, based on this pillar, discipline. After that, we have to cultivate the other practices. If there is no discipline, if we do not know how to behave, where is religion? Therefore, I am very happy to see how this Dharma Master trained his disciples, trained his devotees. Here in Malaysia, we also try within our capacity to introduce religion and train our devotees. Of course, still we have no courage to fire our devotees just like our Dharma Master. However, we are happy that we could manage to gain the ground and people started to realize. Recently, we have renovated our shrine room and announced no more joysticks here inside the shrine room. Now they have realized. And before that, I would like to mention a few more words. You have regarded me as a trustworthy person because some time ago you have appointed me as one of the trustees of Dharma Realm University. And today you honored me giving an honorary degree. I accepted this degree, but I am not going to take this honor only to myself. I strongly believe that I got, if not I am entitled to receive this honor because of our Malaysian Buddhists. Our Malaysian Buddhists have given their full support and cooperation and assistance to carry on our Buddhist activities for the last 28 years. So this is the result of the recognition of the services. And all these services I could manage to perform because of our devout Buddhist members in Malaysia. Therefore, I invite all our devotees and members to share this honor. Buddhism is a religion which is the most liberal teachings that we can find on this earth. Buddhism or the Buddhists, real Buddhists, do not try to bring anything from outside to cultivate their mind, to gain their wisdom or enlightenment. instead of searching something somewhere else outside, they try to find out their own mind and divert their own mind towards their subconscious mind and cultivate. After this cultivation, they can gain, they can realize, they can understand everything here in this universe. By learning more and more worldly things, by gaining worldly knowledge, what we do, we enrich, we nurture our ignorance. We have imagination, we have belief, we have concept regarding our life, regarding this world, regarding this universe. By learning more and more worldly subjects, what we do, we enrich and we nurture our imagination. That means we enlarge our ignorance in our mind. This worldly knowledge is the biggest enemy for the spiritual development. A spiritual blindness remains within us, but we know more and more about this universe. We think we know, but actually we do not know anything. What we have done, we have enriched our ignorance about the world. If we really develop our mind in proper manner, not only here, worldly things, or not only about this universe, beyond this universe, there are many things for us to understand. And this understanding comes to us through the cultivation of and the development of insight, not outside. So this is the religion that teaches you how to think and what to think. These two things you cannot find somewhere else. Some people can teach you how to think, but they do not know how to teach you what to think. Some people can tell you what to think, but they do not know how to teach you how to think. Therefore, Buddhism is an art of thinking. There is an art. We must know that technique, how to think. That is what Buddha did. By practicing this art of thinking, he gained his enlightenment. He did not announce that when he was meditating under that Bodhi tree, somebody came behind and whispered to his ear and revealed the secret of this world and the universe. He did not get any divine message. He did not get any information from outside. Everything he developed within his mind, and he gained his enlightenment through practicing this art of thinking. There are so many things for us to discuss, so this is not the time. I think you are very tired after listening so many lectures. So, on behalf of the Malaysian delegation, I take this opportunity to thank the Most Venerable Dharma Master and his beloved disciples and devout Dayakas and devotees for giving this honor, for giving this opportunity and extending your kindness and hospitality. Thank you very much.
Are the at Instilling Virtue Elementary School here? Okay, let's all recite the Buddha's name. Let's all get together and sing, I'm really lucky to study Buddhism. Okay? And we'll all recite the Buddha's name and bow to the Buddha 3 times, and then everybody can take a rest.
Quickly. Up. Flag coming.
The words are, I'm really lucky to study Buddhism because last life I planted good seeds. Now in this life I've met good friends and a good knowing one to teach me deep wisdom. I think that I will go to Buddhahood real soon. I hope so. My Dharma friends and I together will go to perfect enlightenment.
今天呢，因为太高兴了，所以呀，对你们说话声大一点，并不是对着你们发脾气，就是因为太高兴了。你们谁要怕我发脾气呢？就好好的守规矩；要不怕我发脾气呢，来到这儿不守规矩，我也不管。
係高興啊，所以同你哋講嘢咧大聲咗啲，並唔係話對大家發脾氣嘅。咁如果你哋怕上嚟發脾氣咧，點樣咧？最好咧下一次嚟啊，大家乖乖地守規矩，佢就唔會咁大聲。The master was extremely pleased today, which is why he spoke so loudly at us. It certainly wasn't the case that he got angry. But if anybody was afraid that he was getting angry, well, next time when you come, be sure to follow the rules.
If you don't like follow rules, still can come in. I don't tickle you. You like go where, go to hall, go to animal, go to every. I don't tickle. If you like I tickle you, you like have censor hard, like follow rules. This is important. If you come in, you don't have belief mind,
coming or going.
Do you understand?
If you want to come to the city of 10,000 Buddhas, and if you're afraid of being scolded, then you just better follow the rules. If you're not afraid of being scolded, then you can come here and do whatever you want. But the master won't take care of you. If you want the master to take care of you, then you've got to follow the rules. Because if you don't follow the rules and he doesn't take care of you, then he doesn't care where you go. Maybe you go to the hells, maybe you go to the animals, maybe you go to the realm of the hungry ghosts.
如果你哋唔守規矩嘅咧，第要嚟萬佛城都可以嚟，但係咧我哋上嚟就唔理你噶啦。咁咧唔理你咧，你哋做咩都得啦。
我看也不看你了。
睇都唔睇你啦，但係你好容易咧就墮落到去地獄啊，或者惡鬼啊，或者畜生啊，嗰陣時你咧都太遲啦。
And so if you come to the city of 10,000 Buddhas, you should come with a sincere heart, a very sincere heart. If you don't come with a sincere heart and come with a heart of belief, then what are you coming here for?
如果你嚟萬佛城咧，就應該係誠心誠意將你成副心咧擺喺呢度，咁先係真嘅。如果唔係你嚟到呢度咧，對你自己都冇益㗎。
万佛城所有的出家人、在家人是冻死不攀缘，饿死不化缘，穷死不求缘，随缘不变，不变随缘。抱定我们有3大宗旨万佛城是舍命为佛事，造命为本事，革命为僧事，济世明理，明理济世，推行主事一脉心传。俺们是冻死迎风站，饿死天路行，绝对不向这个金钱去低头的。
The city of 10, all the left-home people and lay people at the city of 10,000 Buddhas are not afraid of freezing and they don't climb on conditions because of a fear of freezing. They don't beg because of a fear of being poor. They don't go around climbing on conditions or begging for fear of being hungry. They accord with conditions without changing. There is never a time when anybody at the city of 10,000 Buddhas will do anything to have people cause them to...
捨命為佛事，造命為本事，革命為真事，即是明理，明理即是推行祖師，一脈深傳。我哋係餓死迎風站、凍死迎風站、餓死挺肚行嘅，即係咧，就算自己冇錢我哋亦都唔會彎低頭去貪人嘅錢嘅。
We offer up our lives to do the work of the Buddha, we establish our lives in the Dharma, and we devote our lives to making a revolution in the order of the Sangha. In the midst of our affairs, we manifest true principles, and true principles are always manifest in everything that we do. And in this way, we continue the pulse of the Buddha's true heart transmission.
OK， 我要发我的脾气，你们要发你们的脾气，咱们大家都发脾气，看看谁的脾气大。
And so now I'm going to blow out my temper, and you all of you blow out your tempers. We'll see who's got the biggest temper.
好而家上人有發脾氣，你又可以發你嘅脾氣，我哋睇下你邊個脾氣夠大。
thích với cái mà lại sang năm nó lại là để cái này là các bạn chưa hay đâu.
啥徒弟？啥徒弟来？对了。Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
谁都可以的，我是大开方便的。
来，阿姑，影相同師傅影相快啲。
報名先報名。
你而家咁幫呢度先幫那邊去找我報名，我再填那個。
啊？没有时间看。OK， 中间。
這個台灣嚟嘅係咁樣嘅。喂，我影快啲嚟啦，師傅唔得閒㗎，陣間。今晚揾一個人影。
你到那儿報名去。
我哋影啊。到那裡人好多。
他也。
哦，好的，你跟着我來先接去好嗎？好。師傅啊，我要拍照。我住在這啊，我等一下要回去啊。你現在可以把你寫下來，我先搞個頭像。學入平時啊，咁多我都唔識嘅。
你聽我講話，不怕。
做自我就怕搞。
拍多了就怕。天天要拍多。
拍4個位，通忙，嘛佢好唔忙啊，可以。
你女兒沒來？
我的女兒啊，跟着这个滴水去，上这个巴士了。他们去这个2个礼拜到那个雅各巴里。今年就这个一个文体，就是文英文教他嘛，他是教在他学了有好久。我们看一个人是我的师傅，通年的师傅。师傅你发宝了，我现在来宝山，现在我就从师傅那发宝了。好，明天今晚7点半啊？
明天
早上7点半。每天早晨啊，他们连都忙都走啊，哎呀，没有很下次感谢啊，和不該講我要再來。
對咯。
你是不休息了？今天是累了天了，太累了。
師傅啊，昨天啊，我行李喺飛機場仲未拿。
啊，準備拿到丟了嗎？丟了。
吃掉了，就想想找什么地方。
Like if I die, if I finish, and if sometimes if I keep go back to
本来嘛，我愿意坐得下，不坐得上。但是这2位3步一拜的修行人呢，是我的徒弟。我要不坐在上边呢，他们也不敢坐在上边。 所以呀，我这不得已呀，我先坐在上边。那么坐在上边呢，一边留一个空位，给他们两位坐。本来摆这个台的人呢，我不知道为什么摆了四个座位在上面。另外一个人我不知道啊是算的哪一个，但是我想一想，叫谁上来好呢？叫果瞻上来，果行回这就不合处；叫果义上来，回这果修也合处。说这个做师傅的完全不公平。那么虽然这是坐在上边和下边没有什么分别，但是这个人呢就是这么奇怪。你有一个境界来了，你做的不太公平啊，他就要找麻烦了。所以呀，那么我叫果龟把这个凳子拿下去一个，你们谁也不要争谁也不要合处谁也不要妒忌，谁也不要仗义。我和你们讲话。
Originally, I wanted to sit down. I did not want to sit on the platform today.
但是这两位传道一拜的修行人呢，是我的徒弟。我要不坐在上边呢，他们也不想坐在上边。所以啊。
But these two cultivators who bowed are my disciples, so. I really couldn't avoid sitting up here on the platform. And there were two places up here for them to sit. Now the people who set up the platform, I don't know why, but someone put up 4 chairs. And I don't know who the 4th person was that they had in mind. And I thought it over about what I was going to do, because if I had Guojan take that seat, then maybe Guohan would have gotten jealous. And if Guoyi got up there, then maybe Guosho would have been drinking vinegar. And saying that their teacher was really unfair. Now, although we know that whether you're sitting on the platform or you're not, it really doesn't make any difference. But people can be really strange. If you have some kind of gathering and people get seated in the wrong places, some people are going to start grumbling. So I told Guogui to take that extra chair away. And that way nobody would have to be jealous. Or upset. So as long as I was up here, sitting up here, I thought I might as well say a few words. Now, I thought I'd go ahead and say a few things, and I'm not a very good speaker, but that doesn't matter. If you're just good listeners, that's what counts.
你们这个脑筋不要像我这么糊涂。那两位传不明白的，回来他也不敢讲话。我现在。
Now, maybe the two cultivators might not want to speak.
先来给我把地扫干净了。
So I thought I'd first sort of pave the way, sweep the road.
等着他们走这条路啊，他也不会害怕。
And then once that was done, they wouldn't be afraid.
我虽然没有传布一拜呀，但是我在家里呀，在这个庙上等着他们传布一拜呀，虽然比他们传布一拜更顺了。
Now, although I didn't go out and bow once every 3 steps, I think that it's possible that back at the temple where I was working harder than they were. I was enduring even more suffering.
我在这儿啊，天天呢，就要令他们没有什么大麻烦。
Now, why do I say this? It's because every day I was very busy helping to prevent them from having any big problems. That was what I was hoping to do. I'm not saying that I could do it actually, but I was wishing for this. See, you have to note I said I was hoping they would have no trouble. I wasn't saying I was keeping them from having trouble, so you should note how carefully this is phrased. And this was so that, well, let's say there was some problem, then people would have gone around saying, oh, that Dharma master, he says he has spiritual penetrations, but then why did his disciples get in trouble in their bowing? Now, it's not that I really care, but about my reputation in this way, but I still wanted to prevent them from, say, getting run over or in some other kind of an accident, maybe blown away by the wind or drowned. So that would have been a problem. So that's why I say I may have been working even harder than they were. So they were out on the road all this time, and they weren't afraid of the wind or the rain or the sun, the heat of the sun. And so nobody here today is allowed to wear a hat. Anybody who's got their hat on is being disrespectful of the cultivators. So somebody tried to give me an umbrella. How could I possibly go for something like this? I mean, what would it look like? Nobody else has an umbrella, and I'm a big sissy up here with an umbrella. Or trying to act like the emperor. So I want to be just like all of you. And if the sun is really getting to you, then go ahead and put your hats back on. Because I've got some hair up here. Doesn't matter. But those of you who have just shaved your heads, the sun might blister your head off. So you shouldn't do what I tell you to do. Because everything I say is half true and half false. It's not entirely true, and it's not entirely false. If the false part makes sense to you, then believe in that. And if you think the true part makes sense, then believe in that. It's up to you. You pick whatever you want. I can't speak this too clearly. Because if I told you the whole thing, then you wouldn't be using your own judgment, your own Dharma selecting eye. And if you insist on me telling you absolutely everything, that's not really right. So I'm just going to tell you that it's half true and half false. Do you understand now? If you pick the false part to believe in, then you'll get cheated by me. But if you pick the part that's true, then you cultivate according to the Dharma, and you'll gain benefit. Now, probably what happened were the monks, the rebelling monks, listened to this half and half teaching of mine, and they managed to pick out the true half, cultivate according to that. And they just let the false part be. That's all. That's all there was to it. Okay?
The Master just asked me while we were bowing up if I had died yet. And I should explain this so nobody will get the wrong impression that the Master was maybe wishing bad luck on myself. The dying that the Master was talking about was the dying of the self, the dying of desire, and not the dying of the person, not the dying of the cultivator. I should be really careful because everything speaks the Dharma. The wind speaks the Dharma. When I open my mouth and don't speak really truly, then retribution comes. And it's right here that disasters begin. So maybe this base is speaking the Dharma and saying, Kung Chao, this is a warning. Everything you say should be really true and right on the mark, and not the least bit arrogant or false, because if it's that way, then for sure something bad is going to happen. Not just for you, but for all living beings, because you're a left-home person. And because you're a left-home person, then everything you do is for everybody, and not just for yourself. So the wind was giving me a warning to be really careful. So I should listen. And that's really what I want to talk about. That's an example of the Dharma that we've learned from 2.5 years of bowing, is to be really true and really honest and really straightforward in everything we do. A newsman came up and asked, "Why are you bowing?" And I said, we are bowing to try to get rid of disasters and calamities and suffering in the world. And he said, well, what do you mean? Do you mean man-made disasters like broken homes and unfilial children and car accidents? Or do you mean natural disasters like earthquakes and tornadoes and floods and famine? And I said, we mean both, because both are the same. Both come from the same source. And he said, I don't understand. And when Hung Sure and I started this pilgrimage, we didn't understand either. We were brought up in a Western society, educated according to the best scientific traditions, so quite naturally, we didn't believe in anything but our egos and ourselves. We didn't believe that, as it says in the Avatamsaka Sutra, all karma is born of, all retribution is born of karma. That is, everything that happens to you comes from what you do. So we decided that it was a matter of life and death to us to be really careful of what we were doing on Sambui Bai and to run a little scientific experiment so that we would have something to share with people who didn't believe this. Because if you don't believe this, then there's no way to end suffering. No one saves you but yourself. No one can and no one may. You yourself must walk the path. The Buddhas only show the way. So the Master says he speaks half true and half false. If you don't know which one to follow, then you can be in really bad straits. If you know which one to follow, then every day is happy, everywhere is peaceful. So I wanted to share just a little bit today of some of the experiments we ran on Sambui Bai and what we learned from them. And I really seek the compassion of the Avatamsaka Assembly of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to help me make sure that my words are true and not arrogant or false for the sake of all beings. The two outstanding lessons of this whole pilgrimage are both within the Flower Adornment Sutra. One is that everything is made from the mind alone. And the second is that everything that happens to you comes from what you do. First day we started out in Los Angeles, we found this to be the case. Right away we met all manner of strange people and beings who came to test our vows. They came to test Hung Sure's silence vows and trying to see if they could get him to talk. They tested our vows not to get angry by really pushing us up against the wall with tested situations. And in all of this, we were instructed right from the beginning that no matter what happened, we couldn't fight and we couldn't get angry. And that all we could use was kindness, compassion, joy, and giving to deal with all situations. This was really hard for me because I'm used to fighting. Not so much with fists, but with words and with thoughts. And using to push my weight around. And this is just another kind of fighting and it doesn't work. We found that when we held our precepts, this is really important. The 5 precepts are the basis of everything. If you can hold the 5 precepts, not only are you assured of never being born in the lower regions as a hell, a hungry ghost, or an animal, you're always assured of being born at least as a human being. This is really important. And if you keep your vows, if you make vows and keep your vows, then wherever you go, you'll be okay. We found this to be the case when we started bowing and bowed up to Vandenberg Air Force Base. At this time, incredible storms came up. I guess you'd call them typhoons. There were winds up to and exceeding 100 miles an hour all throughout the area. And heavy flooding. Trailer trucks and semis were blown off the road and whole little towns were completely leveled by these winds. at this time, we hadn't really done anything too bad. So we had kept our precepts pretty much, and we were holding tight to our vows, and for some reason we came through okay. We never got touched by the winds, and we never really got touched by the rain. Wherever we went, who was ever looking after us and taking care of us was really compassionate. And we came out okay. In fact, days went by when it was pouring rain and it never rained on us. And as soon as we started false thinking about, gee, it's not raining on us, we got drenched. There have been times when we could actually feel the presence of, I don't know what to say, protecting spirits. Not only of our teacher, but of spiritual beings around us, protecting us. This happened at the beginning in Los Angeles. I'm sure at one time had a vision of going to the Bodhisattva just before an accident took place, and there was no accident as a result. His young daughter was running off with men. She was only 15 years old at the time. He was really worried. He was really mistreating his young child physically and emotionally, and he and his wife were contemplating getting a separation. After reading the Vinaya, he put it to practice, and about 7 or 8 months later, they stopped on their way to a vacation, and they all looked really good. They were all together, happy. The younger daughter, older daughter, had come back home and was living with them again. And the kids were really bright-eyed and happy, and he attributed to that book, to reading the Vinaya, to following the rules. And he said, you know, it may seem really old-fashioned, but it's made a big difference in my life. So we really found that all our problems come from selfishness, and all disasters come from greed, anger, and stupidity. We've seen this in bigger ways too, and I want to talk about these because they don't often get talked about. Puncture and I have been really skeptical about these things, but now I've come to really believe them. For example, it's a fact that there haven't been earthquakes in San Francisco. Now, why is this the case? And San Francisco is right on the San Andreas Fault Zone, and it should have earthquakes. It should have gone under into the ocean a long time ago. And it's clearly because of the vow power and precept way virtue of our teacher. I don't say this to give anybody a high hat because we've been told not to give high hats. So I'm giving a high hat to the power of the Dharma and to the power of pure precepts, that the way and the response intertwine and hard to conceive of. That if you're really pure, then magic things happen to you. And the city of San Francisco hasn't had any earthquakes, nor has Hong Kong, when we were there, had any typhoons when the Master was there, because of the same thing, because of cultivation, because of the power of pure precepts. When we were in LA, we rode down to LA and we barely made it to LA. The storms were so bad, the roads were flooded out, and we were in the blue VW bus at the time. We floated through a couple of puddles on the highway, where the tires weren't even touching the ground. It was so heavy. We got to LA and there was a medicine master repentance ceremony going on. All the people in the LA area had come to Gold Wheel Temple and were holding the medicine master repentance to eradicate the causes and conditions of disasters and illness and suffering and calamities. And at this time it was really strange because the mayor of Los Angeles had declared a state of emergency. In fact, many homes had been wiped out and things were bad and there was more storms coming in. And yet, the Gold Wheel Temple in the surrounding area, nothing happened. And many of the disciples came back and reported at that time that in their neighborhood, huge trees had gone down and ruined homes right next door to them, but in their own homes, nothing had happened either. And at this time, I remember it being said that this was attributed to the sincerity of the people participating in that weekend medicine master repentance. We witnessed it ourselves. It was really hard to believe. Not only that, but during the repentance, a huge tidal wave was coming in off the ocean, and somewhat short of the city of Los Angeles, suddenly dissipated and was gone. every thought, with every act, and with every word that Hung Sure and I have ever said or done or thought of that has been marked with greed, for food, for fame, for wealth, for sex, or for sleep, has brought us trouble, has brought us disasters. Every time we've kept the 5 precepts of not killing, not stealing, no sexual misconduct, no false speech, no drugs or intoxicants, not even thoughts of those. We've always been okay, and there's been really magical responses around us. So the heart of this whole pilgrimage is that we've learned a whole lot. And of all the, looks like, bitterness and suffering and cultivation, there's none that isn't happiness. It says, the hells, the hungry ghost, and the animals, King Yama's realm, all animosity, hatred, conflict, slander, and insult, all these evils are caused by greed and attachment to the 5 desires. So this is what the Master was saying when he said, have you died yet? Because if I was embarrassed to go back and bow again in front of the assembly and come up here again, if I had that much of a blush in my face, then the Emperor hasn't died yet. Then desire hasn't died yet. And because desire hasn't died yet, then disasters go on. So Hung Sure and I really feel that if we can get rid of our own desire by a little bit, then the whole world's better by a little bit. And that if we hold on to our little desire and think, well, it's just a little desire and it's mine, then the whole world is polluted by that much little desire. And so it says the Bodhisattva who looks at all of this and figures out, gee, you know, we're all connected. No man is an island. Everything we do touches each other. He looks at this and realizes this, and he reduces his greed for the flavor of the 5 desires. So as a result, we were really trying to get rid of our greed for food. We eat a lot differently now than we did when we started. We eat a lot of sweets and really good food when we started, and found that it brought a lot of trouble. I've really tried to control and reduce my sexual desire because more than anything, this is the heart of all desires. Because of I greed for others because I can't see through myself, because I'm confused about myself and confused about others. And because of that, on this trip I almost died because of my sexual desire. In fact, it was in Malacca during the Asian tour that the fruit of my sexual desire came to ripeness, and I almost died. And if it weren't for the compassion of the Master, I'd be scattered back to the 4 elements right now, and who knows where my soul might be. For sure in King Yama's region. And so that taught me a lesson, that what's sweet has really bitter fruit, and what looks bitter really brings a sweet heart, a sweet mind. And so it's been a little easier because of that to put down my greed for women, and to see it really clearly that it's not women, but it's my own selfishness that I can't turn around. And so it said, once you stop seeking, you can stop worrying. And then you can reach true ultimate happiness. So I wish to say that we've tried our best to die, and we maybe just got a little sick, so we're going to keep on bowing. And I hope that what we've learned is of value used by all that we need. What we've done has been good because we followed instructions. What we've done hasn't been good. Brought trouble because of our selfishness and our inability to die. So I hope you all die too. I hope we all die together and get reborn together. I don't know. We haven't read the news, so we don't know these people. Maybe that's not so good. But I hope you die anyhow. I hope we all die together. And I hope we all stay together and meet time and time again to cultivate the way together and to help each other reach the path. We transfer at the end of all our day of bowing to the city here and to all living beings to end disasters and calamities, and so that all of us together can accomplish Buddhahood. And I really hope that this may be so. So I've got my hat on today because I shaved my head with a blister. I should stop talking. Peace and way to all.
知不知道这个果婷啊，也很久没有讲话了，就发了讲话的神经了，所以一讲就讲了100个钟头。
Everybody, in case you don't know it, Dharma Master Hung Chow hasn't talked in a long time. Today got a chance to talk, and he went into a kind of talking insanity and talked for 100 hours.
No enough. Still no enough.他也不管你们在这晒的怎么样，晒干了、晒死了，他都不管的。
Whether or not everybody was just sitting here sweating in the sun and getting all dried out, peanut butter and dried to death.
我是受不了了。
I personally can't stand it.
我想要跑也跑不了了，你说怎么办？
I really had itchy feet. I wanted to get out of here.
I 我不再多讲一句话了，多讲一句话他会出汗。
I'm not going to say another thing if I open my mouth again and start firing.
Okay. 英语大众参观。请坐下，请你们坐下啊！我就是要请你们坐下。多讲话就是要 简单的说几句。这个我讲的最要紧是信心。这个信心是如果要讲了半天也讲不完，讲了多年也讲不完。这个信是无尽法藏。那么我自己这次3步礼拜，可以说有什么就以前没有的，现在有信心。那么信什么？就信佛、信法、信僧。那个《华严经》里边，二回向菩萨，这个金刚不坏心这个菩萨，他有10个不坏心是什么？他就信三世一切佛，他也信菩萨，就是连初发心菩萨他也发信心。那么他也信一切佛法，他也信一切，还有不坏心对于所有一切佛的教训。那么他也对所有一切众生也发不坏心，那么不坏信心。他也对于所有一切白经法也发信心。And I learned that anger causes wars in that way. It's a direct relationship. So we've learned the source of wars is your own heart. And in a way, by controlling our own anger, just not giving rise to anger inside or not giving rise to anger outside towards any being, anywhere, we don't destruct ourselves and we don't cause trouble for others. We don't make wars in the world. The third thing we transfer to every day is that the city of 10,000 Buddhas might be quickly and easily accomplished for the sake of all beings in the world. And we really believe, we have indestructible faith, that this is the source of a lot of goodness in the world. And as I bow to everybody in the assembly and cause you trouble, as the Master says, I'm bowing to 10,000 Buddhas. I'm bowing to 10,000 Buddhas in your hearts, and I'm bowing to 10,000 Buddhas in my heart, and I'm bowing to 10,000 Buddhas in empty space all around us. So that's what Sanbui Bai has been to me, and it's been a source of indestructible faith in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, in all pure white dharmas that can be transferred, in Bodhisattva Dharma masters, in the Buddhist teachings, like cause and effect, like giving, which is a practice of happiness. We've learned that giving is a practice of happiness. And I bow to all I have indestructible faith in Bodhisattva Dharma masters, indestructible faith in Buddhist spiritual penetrations, indestructible faith in the clever, expedient means of great bodhisattvas who can take ignorant living beings like this one, and no matter how greedy, no matter how hateful, no matter how many false views we have, they can trick us into going towards the good. And that's my indestructible faith.
Still have ampere 现在，只有阿弗拉迪西第一次的ampere 的ampere。 看他像不像个皇帝？
Dharma Master Hung Chao says that he's still an emperor inside. So everybody should take a good look at him and let's figure out, is he an emperor? Does he look like an emperor?
是皇帝，眼睛是皇帝，是嘴巴是皇帝，耳朵是皇帝。
Did an emperor's nose? Are eyes the emperor? Or does he have emperor ears?
你是安个帽？什么是皇帝？
Just exactly what is it about the emperor?
为什么他说这话呢？他自己大家觉得自己坐在这个地方讲话，那么这个果真的站在那儿讲话，他自己一比较啊，大家这个皇帝又现出来了。就是我告诉你。
Why am I bringing this up? Because he's figuring out now that he sat up behind the podium to lecture, and Dharma Master sure stood down on the ground. So he probably figures this means that the emperor has shown something.
I'm still the emperor. So now I'm at the city of 10,000 Buddhas, and maybe some people are thinking, well, at the very least, maybe they're enlightened now, or they have some kind of spiritual penetration. And all I can say is that I feel really ashamed because I give off this impression, and it's not the case. Every day I false think. Every day I have attachments. Every day I do bad things. Every day I have bad thoughts towards Hung Sure. Every day I feel like the Master's tricked me into cultivating. Every day I false think, well, maybe I could still be a layman and do this.
Yes, yes.
But then I think, no, I can't be a layman and do this because it makes me sick. I can't go back. I get sick going back. All I can do is be a left-home person. I've been tricked. So I think all these things. So where's the pure and lofty in this? So I feel ashamed. And yet I tell these stories and you don't know that what's really going on. The man got up and spoke and said, yes, like the sea, very simple on the surface, but underneath very complex.